TLDR, the DM has us run a mini campaign based on a movie. Party thinks it's 22 Jump Street, but finds it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Welcome to the Twisted Pint Tavern and happy Halloween! Today we're diving into some spooky stories sent in by you viewers in the Twisted Pint Tavern Discord server. If you're interested in sharing stories to potentially be featured in future videos, make sure to join the Discord server using the link in the description. Anyway, let's get started. Had a DM once build a short campaign basing the BBEG on the main character from a low-budget direct-to-video movie called The Last Horror Movie. The movie is about a serial killer documenting his murders and explaining how he manages to get away with them and why he hasn't been caught yet. He then puts the VHS tape of his exploits in a case and puts it on the shelf at a video store, waiting for someone to rent it. When someone rents the tape, he follows them, captures them, gets their impression of his work, then kills them. For us, it was a book found near the scene of a gruesome murder. The book documents many murders in detail, the last of which is the scene where it was found. While helping the city guard investigate, the book goes missing. It's found again at another murder scene, with that murder described in it as well. Rinse and repeat 2 more times until the book is suddenly found in a PC's possessions. Everyone's completely paranoid. The PC with the book goes missing almost immediately after he starts reading it. And now we have to track down the missing PC and kidnapper/murderer, guessing that we only have until our friend finishes reading and gives his opinion. The whole thing only took 4 sessions, maybe 5. But being in a party that was so paranoid was super tense and a lot of fun the whole time. That actually sounds incredible. I love it. I don't know the movie you're talking about. I'm gonna have to look it up, I guess. But the whole murderer documenting all the stuff in the book and then that book kind of following case to case, I love that. That is so clever, so cool, and I'm absolutely using it. Honestly, my scariest experience was my first game, aka the horror story that kept me away from TTRPGs for over a decade. Long story short, my older brother invited me to his group, but his friends didn't like hanging out with someone 4 years younger, so I got bullied out of said group. It involved a lot of nitpicking and gaslighting me about my every decision. Yeah, sometimes the worst horror stories are the ones that happen in real life. It's like in Supernatural when Dean says, the worst monsters are humans. It's that kind of thing. The scariest D&D I've played was a one-shot that turned into a 5-shot mini-campaign, as most one-shots usually do, that the DM had come up with. He had told the party going into it that it was based on a movie, but I don't want to give anything away just yet, and we were curious what this was going to be. During the first session, we all meet up with a local constable in a small village that was an outlet of sorts for a larger city. We were hired on to be bounty hunters, tasked with finding rogue enemies and bringing them to the constable to face justice. Each time we found and captured a fugitive, the constable would pay us and tell us he was sending them off to the city to be trialed. We thought nothing of it, figuring that we were basically playing a buddy cop movie. As the sessions continued, we met another character that we talked to often, a leather worker that traveled around the region selling leather armor. I have an idea of where this is going. Each time he visited, the DM made sure to mention the different colors available, how some would be studded, some enchanted with certain perks, etc. We bought a few kinds from the merchant over time since none of us had plate armor to start and didn't want to go so costly for it. Again though, we thought nothing of it, aside from some slow progression for us. Then comes the penultimate session. We capture and wind up befriending a Githzerai that created a mental link with our barbarian. They kind of entered a bit of a minor romance on the way back. The Githzerai was only wanted for a minor crime, not a serious offense. We hand the Githzerai off to the constable with the expectation of seeing her again in a few days after she pays her fine. That night, the barbarian awakes to a loud, ear-shattering shriek and a metric ton of psychic damage, a sign the connection was forcibly weakened or closed. Barb wakes us all up and with what little connection remains, manages to lead us to the source of the shriek. We find ourselves in an abandoned building and burst in to find the Githzerai being flayed alive by the leather worker. It turned out that every time we captured a criminal and handed them off, the constable instead handed them off to the leather worker, who would kill them and use their skins to make the leather armor. That's where I was thinking it might go. I was hoping it didn't go there, but that's what the different colors and abilities were from. The abilities were minor tweaks to the racial traits of the criminals. The last session amounts to killing the leather worker, exposing the constable to the village and the city, the latter of whom were unaware and received the heads of the criminals instead of them captured alive, and saving the day. Unfortunately, the Githzerai didn't make it through, but she did help a little when we managed to break her restraints while fighting the leatherworker. TLDR, the DM has us run a mini campaign based on a movie. Party thinks it's 22 Jump Street, but finds it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Man, that's quite the switch up. You think you're going into a buddy cop movie, it's gonna be this fun like action comedy one-shot, and it turns into a 5-session horror show based on Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I mean, honestly, props to the DM. I only picked up on the leatherworker thing because I had the context of this being a horror story. Without that, I mean, that's just a solid, pretty sneaky plot. Well, I made my character scared during a Halloween session we had today, so the party wasn't all there, so I decided to have a small adventure for them, and let me tell you, it was funny. At the start of the adventure, the person they were living with asked them to go get some decorations to prepare for the holiday of Hallows Night. Cut forward to the split party that went to get slime's goo to make the area look shiny and gooey. There was 50 slimes in total, varying in color and elements. But after collecting some of the core of the slimes, the paladin had noticed a black slime sitting in the middle of the room, as if it was waiting for something. I had them roll to see what exactly it was waiting on, but they rolled low. As they were about to grab the core, the slime moved super fast and was behind them. The player, already getting freaked out by said slime, says they'd like to leave. Now keep in mind, they had an invisibility spell cast on them by the bard that accompanied them to the slime cave, called the Slime Ranch. The black small slime was still following the invisible paladin, because it rolled a nat 20 on the perception. And all I said to them was, you hear gurgling noises as you feel the presence of black slime behind you. The paladin said, I don't want to turn around. And when they did, they didn't see it. But when they turned back around again, the slime was there again. Also, let it be known the paladin attacked it twice with little to no damage inflicted on it at all. The black slime grew a limb and pointed behind them. That is not something that I want to see happen. The paladin, not wanting to turn away from it again, cause they're now scared, had the bard tell him what was behind them, and then did a U-turn so as to not turn around. But what they both saw was a vicious black skeleton made from the same black slime that the other was made of. And so, in a panicked rush, they both ran up the stairs while being chased by this thing, back up to the top of the entrance, and then the entrance collapsed. But as they were leaving, I told them, you hear the faint sound of rocks being moved as if it's trying to dig its way out. And let me tell you, I was having a jolly old laugh. When you can actually terrify your players with the description, like the whole, it's here for a moment, then it's gone, black slime, and then this skeleton that's being pointed at by this black slime and it causes them to run away, and then the psychological horror of knowing that this thing's clawing its way through the rocks toward you, that's a pretty fun moment when you can properly terrify your players. So I gotta give that one a thumbs up as well. And that's where we're gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Have a super fun and super safe Halloween out there, and I'll see all of you wonderful people in the next video. Boo! Did I get you? Probably, wait, no, you can't trick or treat for beer, dude. Come on, stop trying that.